What's up guys, it's Punchy, and today we have a pretty large update with a giant impact on Deepwoken itself, so get ready. I think everyone can enjoy a few different things here and there, but I probably won't cover absolutely everything in this patch, so check it out for yourself. I'm excited to show you what's up, and let's get right into it. Starting off strong, there's a combat defining change that has been added called ping compensation. Everybody hates fighting with insane amounts of lag, but there should be less of a difference after this update. So if you're being hit, the game will now check your ping, and if you're laggy enough, there should be a delay before the damage is dealt. This should provide a window for reaction, and it makes gameplay a bit smoother by countering lag. It's one of the best changes that I've seen recently, and it should improve the feel of all Deepwoken combat. Today, it's all about reworks, and finally, Ceaseless Slashes has received its overhaul, and yeah, this is good. This light weapon mantra forced the player to speed around, dealing automatic damage to nearby players, and it was pretty impossible to use in combat. Users would run around constantly, making it a mobility option instead of anything else. This new version of the mantra starts off very similarly, forcing the player into a cancelable slash state. Inside of this state, the user can move in any direction they want, and M1 to pull out an attack, which is pretty much the same but a little bit better. The targeting is to the nearest player, and the damage and posture dealt from this attack is surprisingly powerful, so now I think it's a useful mantra. Today, another legendary weapon has released, which I think is something special, and we haven't seen anything like this. Dropping from the Etheron boss himself, we have received the legendary Curse Seeger. This weapon is a legendary greatsword that scales off both charisma and heavy weapon. Its design is pretty wicked with a bone type setup, and it seems like it's the most powerful out of the Curse weapons, and it's supposed to be. The M1 cycle also seems to lack end lag, swinging very fast, which could be powerful on the right build. The critical attack for this weapon is an unblockable chargeable laser blast with an ethereal chant that does heavy damage and also charms the other target. I'm a fan of how this works, and I think it could be fun to mess around with. A very slept on talent, Dragon Song received an entirely new rework to its description, which is definitely appreciated. This talent originally said that using a mantra after an uppercut reduces the cost, which was disappointing to say the least and was kinda mid. But now, after this rework, it's a solid option that complements basically any build. Landing a mantra after hitting an uppercut now grants bonus ether, which is a little bit better. Lightspeed Reflexes, an absolutely insane talent, allowed your feint to gain auto parry frames, essentially giving the user double parries, and now it has been reworked. The new talent says you can feint your M1 by parrying, and this means instead of feinting with the actual M1 cancel, you can reliably cancel it mid-swing, leading to even more mix-ups. Moving on, when you open Deepwoken, you should notice on the character selection screen that a visual is shown besides each slot. With this new option, it's a bit easier to know which character you want to pick, and it's a nice quality of life update. It dropped earlier this week, but I think it's also worth bringing up. On to balancing, we've got a huge patch to unpack, and seriously, there are some huge updates for all of Deepwoken combat all around the board. In this patch, both heavy and medium weapons received a giant combat rework. Basically, if you hit a blocking player with a medium or heavy weapon, you gain a positive frame advantage, which light weapons do not receive. Let me explain. If you're parried by somebody, you have a negative frame advantage since you're being stunned. If you have no frame advantage, you're at neutral, but now if you hit a block with a medium or heavy weapon, you have more time to act, and that means it's positive. I'm interested to see what happens next, and let's keep moving. A substantial change, dodging in general has received big nerfs, lasting a little bit longer than your parry window. Whenever you press F to parry, that's how long your parry lasts, and now your dodge invincibility frames should last a little bit more than that, but it has been reduced. Basically, all dodges last for less time, but we aren't done yet, and bigger nerfs are coming specifically to talents. Right off the bat, there are some major changes to all dodge talents. So with the new correction to ping imbalance or less lag in combat, that, dodge talents have been nerfed to make up for the smoother gameplay, and let's see what's up. First, both Dark Rift and Ghost have essentially the same application, making the user invulnerable after a successful dodge, and this has been destroyed with insane cooldown nerfs. Both of these talents have had ridiculous hits to their CD, replacing their 8-second cooldown to 20 seconds. This is more than double their original cooldown, and this nerf is extremely large. Risky Moves, the lesser version of Ghost, allows the player to dodge a single attack after dodging once, and this has also been standardized to Ghost cooldown. So, once again, instead of having 15-second cooldown, we now have a 20-second cooldown. Observation, the opposite path to Ghosts, lets the user gain bonus dodge frames after a dodge cancel, but now that has also been decreased by a large fraction. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is a random stray hit to this talent, and it's sad to see gone. Safety Dance, an essential combo with Observation, has been hit with a giant nerf, reducing the base dodge frames from 25% to less than that, 10%. That is extremely crippling, so rest in peace. Even Mirage Clone, applying burn on a successful dodge, has been hit with the cooldown change of 20 seconds. Originally at 7 seconds, this has been pushed up to 20-second cooldown, and yeah, you cannot get free damage off a simple dodge for doing very little. I think there's also a few more dodge talents that took some L's, but you know, those were a few that I thought were major, so keep an eye out for that. Speaking about nerfs, the Grim Reaper showed up this update and absolutely gutted the Light's final toll, and I'm surprised that this even happened. The LFT Lantern was purely scaling off willpower and saved a ridiculous amount of investment points, but not anymore. In this update, you will now need an investment of Light Weapon to use this legendary option, and it scales off the stat as well. This means you can no longer deal crazy damage with willpower, you must have Light Weapon investment to actually have viable damage. All I gotta say is rest in peace. Moving on to some buffs, we also got a huge improvement to the Imperial Staff, the new legendary option. I love this weapon since it has the highest versatility out of any weapon, and now the crits are just better. First off, the strength scaling damage was entirely broken with the Imperial Staff, meaning that it only scaled off of medium and your strength stats were just ignored. Anyway, this has been fixed, granting this weapon even more damage to its swing and its criticals, and that's really nice to see. Even further, all criticals are easier to use, and that makes the staff so much smoother overall. The poke critical has lost a majority of its end lag on hit and on miss, allowing you to actually combo or follow up on landed hits. Before, even if you hit somebody, you couldn't do much, but now it actually feels nice to land. The running crit, where we spin around, has also been buffed. Movement speed when using this is much faster, feeling way smoother to use, and on top of this, it's possible to cancel the current spin by feinting, granting us some sort of corrective measure if we don't want to use it. This can also be activated if you're sliding. The aerial crit is another good option, finally, removing some of the end lag and weird pauses while you hit somebody in the air. Before, this was not a fun option to use and very janky, but hey, it's now a good option to knock people down. And that's all. For now, Conquest is still in the works. I know it's taking a long time, but you can still try out Battle Royale with your friends to finesse some dubs. It's still pretty fun regardless, and maybe I'll see you out there with my own team. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to help me out, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm super close to hitting 80k subs, and let's hit that goal by April. Thanks again, it's punchin' time.